boys and girls, secondary students of PBHP Dhamma class, teachers of Buddhist Sunday School and Dhamma class, parents and grandparents. May you all be well and peaceful. Now today, we are going to do a story which is supposed to be a true story that happened in America many, many years ago. And there are many important life lessons we can learn from this story. We will show you the PowerPoint, and as we go along, I'll explain the important things in terms of life lessons and Dharma. So let us now launch the PowerPoint. But before that, let us check again the setup, that the setup is correct. It's okay. So now let us view the slideshow. You can see the first slide. I think I have to take off my photo lah. It's not necessary to now see me. Okay. So a party, you know what is a party? In this case, it's a dance party. You know, in US, students are, you know, even at the age of 14, 15, already attend dancing parties, right? And the word reckless, heedless, careless, foolish, right? And not being careful. And when you do something recklessly, it can bring danger and harm to yourself. And in this case here, it is a motor ride, right? A motor car ride. A story to touch your heart, to make you feel emotionally certain things. And you can learn very important life lessons. So you are affected in the emotions when you hear this story. Here, you know, you have the young people dancing, and here you have the moonlight night. This motor car ride along the highway happens on a moonlight night. All right. Now, you have the pictures to show you the things. Now, let us go on to the next slide. This is another of the slides, a story to touch your heart. The car is moving quite recklessly, actually, and that is the moon. All right, so let us move to the story. Jenny was so happy about the house they had found. For once in her life, it was on the right side of town. Now, this story is narrated in a poetry form. You find there are rhymes and also a rhythm. So it reads nicely. But anyway, I'll explain. Now, Jenny was a student, American student, probably around maybe 14, 15 years old only, right? So the parents and she moved to another town, right? Moved to another town. And she was very excited about it because she found that it was on the good side, on the good place in the town. Right? So she was very excited and happy. Now let us see what is next now. So the family moved into the new house, and you know, they have to unpack the things, rearrange. Moving house is no easy matter, isn't it? So Jenny, you know, probably the family quite well to do. She had her own room. So she unpacked her things with such great ease as she watched her new curtain blow in the breeze. Now you can see here the animated curtain blowing in the wind, in the breeze, a slight wind. Right. So that is this also a picture, right, to show the window panes. So you get the idea of the curtain blowing in the wind, in the small wind, which is called a breeze. All right. So that was Jenny's room. How wonderful it was to have her own room. School would be starting. She would have friends over soon. Now, she was very excited, you know. She, of course, liked her own room, right? Now, this one actually is to show you Like in American schools, they have, to attend classes maybe from morning until evening. They would take their meals maybe in the school, and they have lockers where they could actually put their things, maybe some bags, or to take a bath, you might have some clothes to change, towels and whatever lah. So there's these lockers. We don't have these things in Malaysia. I think maybe a few schools, I don't know, but mostly you don't have lockers where you can put your things. So she was very excited, waiting for schools to start. She will make new friends, and she was thinking of inviting the friends over to her new home. Let us go on. What is next now? Wow, she was just thinking, of the sleepovers and parties. She was thinking, she could get friends to sleep in her new home, and then there would be parties where she could attend. She was so happy. It's just the way she wanted her life to be. These young people are thinking of the fun, right, of the new friends. And here actually, those days they had this rock and roll dance, right? Of course, there are various types of dances also. So let us see what is next now. On the first day of school, everything went great. She made new friends and even got a date. You will see the lines are written in poetry form to have rhyming and also rhythm. Great date, right? Now you can see the situation of an American school. You see, as I say, the students probably 14, 15 years old. So everything was so great. She was a very sociable student. So she could make friends easily. And she even very soon got a boyfriend. So young, huh? She even got a date because she was very, very sociable. So mix around so easily. So what is to come? We don't know. She thought, I want to be popular and I'm going to win because I just got a date with the star of the team. Now let me explain a bit. In America, the most important and popular sport is baseball. The national sport is baseball. Of course, in Malaysia, you can say, well, it's football, or a very popular game is badminton. But in US, it is baseball. This is an animated clip to show how we play baseball. You have one who bats the ball, and then another one, you have the bat hitting onto the ball that is being thrown up. Okay, so she got a date with the star of the baseball team of her school. So she was very happy. She said, wow, my boyfriend is the star of the baseball team. Now I will be very popular. People will look up to me. I'm a winner. Young people think this way. Right, let's see what happens. To be known in this school, you had to have a cloud. A cloud means something, like a weapon, not really the true weapon, but a powerful thing that you have with you. In this case here, it was dating the star of the baseball team. So if you want to be known in school and be popular, right, people look up to you, you have to have something special, and she had this thing that she could get a boyfriend who was a very fantastic baseball player, the star of the team. So she was very, very happy. Of course, this is not her. This is just a video clip of animation, right? To show so young, you see, with boyfriend, girlfriend already. Maybe not be wise, you can see here we normally don't encourage this. Too young, they cannot think carefully yet. And they have studies, isn't it, to be concerned with. There was only one problem stopping her fate, right? The parents were not too happy when they learned that Jenny got a boyfriend, a baseball player. The parents advised her to concentrate on the studies at 14, 15 in Malaysia. 15 years old will be something like Form 3, isn't it? So her parents had said she was too young to date. So the parents told her, advised her, she was still very young. But she didn't want to listen, you see? She didn't want to listen. So in her room, what did she think? Well, I just won't tell them all the truth completely. They won't know the difference, nothing to lose really. She didn't want to tell certain things like, attending parties lah, going out to Pak Tor with the new boyfriend, the baseball team player, and don't know some other things lah. So probably she would just bluff and say, oh, just a friend lah, right? We also study lah, this and that lah. But anyway, she was not being honest to the parents. And you could see what this would cause her. So one day, Jenny asked to stay with her friends that night. She actually lied to her parents. She told her parents, I have to do my project in my friend's house. So I won't be staying at home. I will be staying at my friend's home because we have to discuss our homework and project. Actually, her parents were worried lah. All right, 15-year-old girl, staying outside. But then she was, very, very rebellious. 15 years old, teenage time. And she said, no, I have to. So her parents frowned, not so happy, but said, all right, what to do? So Jenny asked to stay with her friends that night, lying with reasons which were not true. And the parents frowned, but said, all right. So what happened? Actually, she was not telling the truth. She did not really want to do the project at the friend's house. She was going for a party. So excited, she got ready for the party. Probably she packed her, beautiful dress in a bag ready lah. Supposed to pass a night with one of her friends, not to do the project, but to get ready for the party and to attend the party. Too bad she could not think clearly and wisely. The parents advised her, she didn't want to listen. It was too bad and very sad. She had lied to her parents, The parents didn't know that she was going for a party. So sometimes in the mind, she would feel guilty. But then, these young people, probably they don't have Dhamma lah. So the temptations inside her mind made her act foolishly. Temptations will be, or maybe the evil forces coming to lure you lah, right? So your mind will say, go and enjoy yourself lah. Very nice lah. Parties, then you have drinks, you have games, all these things all these are temptations, but they can be very dangerous if you are not careful, especially when you have the wrong friends and the wrong company. So for a while, she felt guilty, and after that, she thought of the fun time, the fantastic time she would have. So she went ahead to attend the party. So this one, the animated clip shows the party lah. So halfway through the party had not ended. So she told her boyfriend, right? Halfway through the party to Jeb. The boyfriend's name was Jeb. She was Jenny, isn't it? All right, to Jeb, her boyfriend, she said, what did she say? I want to go for a moonlight car ride. I can't wait. Jeb was by this time half drunk, and he could not think straight. So both went for their moonlight ride. They didn't hesitate. You can see all the rhyming words are said, wait, straight, hesitate. Right? So she was getting bored already. Young people, especially those without good education in terms of morals and Dhamma. So getting bored. So she told the boyfriend. The boyfriend was drinking, drinking liquor. So already half more the time already, getting worse already. But she was very adamant, insistent No, 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 I want to go for the moonlight ride. I cannot wait already. So then the boyfriend very grumpy say, okay lah, I will drive you. Probably the boyfriend could be maybe, I don't know, 17, 18. He might have got a license, 18 years old or something like that. She was maybe about 15 only, right? So they went for the moonlight ride. And being intoxicated, he was driving recklessly, very fast speeding. Maybe he didn't follow some of the road regulations. So what happened? Accident already. Because Jeb was drunk, he was driving quite recklessly, very carelessly, heedlessly, foolishly, very dangerously. So what happened? His car crashed head to head, crash. Very dangerous, isn't it? Because the impact will be very great, to the people in both the cars. And it was a serious car accident. A head-on crash, we call it. You can see the picture, right? Yeah, this is just to let you know what is a head-on crash. So of course there was a commotion already, a big sound. Then somebody already, there are people around looking at that terrible wreck. You could see the wreck there, isn't it? Right? So she was still conscious, a bit blur, but conscious. But she heard, call an ambulance. These kids are in trouble. You see, when you read the lines, Jenny felt somebody remove her from the rubble. She was very, very seriously injured already, but she was still conscious. She could feel that somebody removed her body, dragged her body out from the car. And then she could also hear somebody shouting, call an ambulance. These kids are in trouble. Rubble will be the wreckage, when two cars head on in collision, head-on collision, or certain parts will come out, your body will be trapped in the car, in the wreckage, rubble. Just as an earthquake rubble, buildings fall down and then it can be trapped inside. So, but they managed to pull her out alive, very weak already. So they call for the ambulance, phone the ambulance already lah. So she could hear some voices. A few words caught her attention. She could still make out certain things. She knew there were two cars in the collision. She knew it was a head-on collision with another car, which means in the accident there were two cars head-on collision. But she was quite blurred and the condition was getting worse already. So waiting for the ambulance to come, isn't it? So let's see now what happens. So what happened? So confused. The mind was already, in great shock, right? So seriously injured. So she was thinking to herself, if Jeff, the boyfriend, was all right, right? She wouldn't know. The accident scene was so devastating. All right. So then she also had those thoughts coming to the mind. One of the other people in the other car. She knew there was the other car that collided into their car. So one of the people in the other car inside her, she cried. She didn't know. Then the ambulance came, and then the ambulance wheeled her right in the stretcher, and of course, she couldn't move already, very, very seriously injured. So moved to the ambulance and then fetched to the hospital. So let's see. So in the hospital, of course, she went into like a unconscious state already. But then when she went to the hospital, probably they gave her some, treatment first. Then she got up, She awoke, but couldn't get up from the bed. She was awake. And she could see, even though blur, that the faces around her, like the nurse or the doctor and the hospital paramedic, all looking very sad. And she heard somebody telling her, you have been in a wreck and it does look pretty bad. So he told her that she was the victim of a very serious accident and the condition was not good. Doctors tell the truth, right? So these voices echoed inside her head, and probably she mumbled very softly to ask about the boyfriend. And they told her the boyfriend was dead. You see the lines? These voices echoed inside her head as they gently told her Jeff was dead. So, very terrible news to her, isn't it? Right. And the doctor told her, Jenny, we have done all we can already. But it looks as if we'll lose you too. That she was nearing death also because the injuries were so serious, isn't it? So the doctors knew already. So they told the truth, right? That she would be difficult to be saved, right? So at least to hear her last words, isn't it? So they said, Jenny, we have done all we can do. But it looks as if we'll lose you too. Right. But then Jenny still could cry out, even though very softly. But the people in the other car, she cried softly. We are very sorry, Jenny. They also died. It was a terrible head-on collision, isn't it? So the people in the other car, they collided into a car, or Jeff's car maybe, right? Also died already. Wow, so now you see how many died. Of course, Jeff died already, Jenny going to die, and don't know how many people are in the other car. So Jeff already died, and Jenny was going to die. So in the last minutes, they could hear her praying softly. Jenny prayed, God, forgive me for what I've done. I only wanted to have just one night of fun. You can see the poetry there. God, forgive me for what I've done. I only wanted to have just one night of fun. But you know what this night led to? A terrible accident, isn't it? And you would know what is the primary cause. Then she told the nurse, tell those people's family I have brought them misery. I wish I could return their families to them safely. So she told the nurses, tell the family of the people who died in the other car that she was to be held responsible. That the car she was in was speeding recklessly and head-on crashed into the other car and killed the people there. And then the family would be very, very, very sorrowful and sad, isn't it? So she was regretting already. I wish I could return their families to them safely. But after that already, you can bring them back alive. It's not possible, isn't it? So that's why it's important that we do the right things. To see. So this is I think they are probably Christians. So they pray in the Western way. Then she told her nurse again, tell mom and dad, I'm sorry I lied. And that is my fault. So many people have died. So she was crying, you see, right? There's the last few minutes already, right? So she asked the nurse to tell the mommy and the daddy she was very, very sorry that she told lies, right? And because of the lies, you know what it led to the moonlight ride and then the accident, the parties, all these. So she regretted that she made the mistake, isn't it? Right? Telling lies, going to the party and drinking also, and the boyfriend drinking, and she still insisted that the boyfriend should drive her on the moonlight ride. So she was feeling very guilty that it was her fault, you see. So, oh nurse, won't you please tell them that for me? She told the nurse. And the nurse was just standing by, silent but very sad. So when she said, oh nurse, won't you please tell them that for me? The nurse just stood there silently. You can see, She didn't say any words. She was very sad, right? So, what happened? Why didn't the nurse say something? She just took Jenny's hand. So sad, needless to say. A few moments later, Jenny passed away already, right? She took the hands and probably said a silent prayer for her, right? She did not answer the question of telling Jenny's parents about her apologies lah, right? So Jenny passed away. Now let us see something very interesting coming, very touching. So there was a man who was nearby, witnessing all the happenings, right? Nearby the bed, right? So he could hear the nurse talking. He could even hear Jenny, even though speaking very softly, he could hear her last request. So when Jenny passed away, the man asked the nurse, why didn't you do your best to agree to that girl to make her last request? She asked you to agree, but you kept quiet and things like that, right? So the man asked, why are you like that? And you know what happened? The nurse looked intensely. The nurse just looked at this man. Jenny had passed away already, at the man with eyes so very sad. And she said, because the people in the other car were her mom and dad. So now how to tell the mommy and daddy? The mommy and daddy also died already in the other car. Then I don't know whether she had a religious belief that she could not lie. She didn't lie, right? Right. So she told the truth. She just kept quiet. So you might be wondering, oh, very strange. Actually, what happened? Right? It's not shown here. But what happened was the parents, of course, gave permission for her to go to the friend's house to sleep for the night there. But they were very worried. The Hokkien, they say, they bang sim. So they just wanted to drive the car out to the friend's house. I think the parents knew the friend's house to just check on her, anything okay, everything okay or not, things like that. So and then so coincidental, the parents' car were driving along that road in the other direction. And Jenny and Jeff driving that car recklessly were in the opposite direction. So the two cars crashed. Jenny's parents' car as well as Jeff's car. So you see, so very tragic, isn't it? That's how the parents died. So you can see that this story is sad, very, very touching, but people have said this is a true story. I don't know. But the important lessons we have to learn afterwards, you see. So this story is so sad, but said to be true. So young people, take heed. It could have been you, isn't it? So young people, especially those who are driving, who have got their license already, and then who always don't think wisely, attend parties and drink beer, drink whiskey and all those things. Young people also do that. And then worse still, they get into bad company, they smoke drugs. Cigarettes first and then after that, smoke drugs. So this story is so sad, right? But said to be true. So it is a lesson for all young people. From standard 6, Form 1, Form 2 upwards, even the college and university students, young people sometimes are lacking in the Dhamma wisdom, can do things which they will regret later on. So that is this story of a party and then a reckless ride. So we are going to finish off by learning life lessons. Very important is to reflect on the life lessons and Dharma that we can learn from thinking over, from pondering on the story. Then we become wiser and we would not make mistakes in the future, isn't it? Or even now, let's say, especially, some students after the Form 3 exams or after the Form 5 exams, right? After Form 6 exam, they're so excited, so happy to enjoy themselves, but without wisdom. Driving dangerously at night to go to another town or to go for parties. It's not that you cannot enjoy yourself. You must be always mindful, careful, and be wise. And we are going to learn these life lessons. All right, so let us look at the first one. Do not lie. This is the fourth precept. Now here, of course, you can see that there was lying, isn't it? Right? So Jenny lied to her parents. If she had told the truth, probably the parents would give very wise advice, and and she listening to all the good advice, she probably would follow her. But she told lies, she said she would do a project, right? And quite insistent. So you can see breaking the fourth precept sometimes can lead to very serious consequences. You can make yourself suffer. You can make other parties suffer also. And as Buddhists, you observe the 5 precepts. And the 4th precept is not to lie, right? So you know how important it is to tell the truth. But today, even young primary school students lie and cheat, when they have the report cards. I remember when I was a form teacher of Form 5 or Form 6, they also had report cards. And these report cards are supposed to be brought back to the parents to be signed. And these students lie, right? Lie. Or they cheated, like you can say, quite similar. So they sign on their own. They sign on their own, So when I questioned them, they lied. They say, yeah, my father signed already, but I was very suspicious. I knew that they cheated. They did not show the parents. It's terrible. Nowadays, I don't know. When I was a student from Standard 1 until Form 6, I never signed my own report card because my teacher told us, let your mother or father sign those, and we follow. We don't lie, we don't cheat. But nowadays, lots of cheating. People are not honest from young until adults. No wonder you find so many terrible things happen. Corruption, bribery, engineers, architects sign the plans when the plans should not be signed because they are not proper, dangerous. No wonder you hear of buildings collapsing in various parts of the world. Malaysia also included, right? So you find the 4th precept very important. Now let us look at the second life lesson, important Dhamma. Do not take liquor or drugs. This is the 5th precept. You chant, isn't it? Sura, Maraya, Maja, Pama, Datana, Veramani, Sikha, Padang, Samadhiyami. Every time you chant in Sunday school, but do you reflect? The 5th precept is, I undertake the precept not to take intoxicants. And this now, we know, includes the drugs. That you take liquor, you find that you can get mabuk. Or if you take drugs, the mind will lose the mindfulness and you do foolish things, which can harm yourself and others. So some people start by taking beer. Then after that, they go on to liquor that is hard, whiskey, right? Or maybe, I don't know, vodka or water. Even teenagers. So it's very, very dangerous. When you are intoxicated, you can break all the other precepts. When the person is mabuk already, he loses the mindfulness, right? So what can happen? You can even kill. Right? They get angry already, the mind already intoxicated, and kill another person. And they can use bad words, which is breaking the 4th precept also, all right? And they can steal, rob people also. And they can commit sexual misconduct. They rape maybe a girl, or maybe molest somebody, right? And of course, they tell more lies. So you break the fifth precept, you break all the other precepts also possible, very likely also, right? And drugs were even worse. They cheat, they lie. The drug addicts, they cheat, they lie, and they even kill, they rob. So all sorts of things. So in this case here, it was this liquor. So because Jeff had taken the drink and he was already half drunk, you know. So and later on he became even more drunk, you know, when the time or maybe the liquor took on greater effect. Just before starting the drive, maybe he drank again, right? So you could see what happened. Last time I did a posting on the dangers of drunken driving. Very, very sad, terrible things happen. I posted in the internet. I think it was for the adults. Actually, young people can see also the danger of drunken driving, right? So for young people, college students or university students, if you drink, don't drive. If you drive, don't drink. Otherwise, you are inviting trouble and dukkha. So let us look at the third one. Learn the Dharma well so that you will not go the wrong way. This to sum up all the things already. When you learn the Dharma well, or if you are of another religion, you follow the religion's teachings of doing good, avoiding bad, right? So you follow properly, you will not go the wrong way already, like lying, driving recklessly, cannot think wisely, taking liquor and drugs, right? And then not doing the things that you should do, like when you are young, spend more time in your education, right? So now you find, you have university students also that involved in smuggling. And they do hanky-panky things, which means that they are not moral things. No, young people also now are getting this. They learn moral education, but then when it comes to practice, they do the opposite. So it's important that you learn the Dharma well, right? Now, those who attend Sunday school or Dharma classes, of course, you have the foundation. But don't forget, you have to carry on and practice. Otherwise, later on, outside world, you have so many con men or evil men and so on influence you, and your Dharma, you throw it into the dustbin already. And somebody once told me, say, brother, oh, you know, one of the Dharma youth camp participants, now in jail, So he thought that I'd be shocked. I say, well, during the Dharma youth camp, of course, they learned the Dharma lesson as well. That was when he was maybe 13, 14 or 15 years old. But now he's an adult. After that, what did he do? What company did he mix with? Right? So things change already. So if you don't continue the Dharma, of course, you can fall into the trap again. So Dharma, after learning well, must be practiced on and on and on until we pass away and get rebirth into a good place. So they won't go the wrong way any time of this life. Otherwise, you will regret when it comes for you, when the time comes for you to pass away. Right? So that is the fourth important life lesson, or you can say a very important Dharma point. Let's now look at the next one. Train your mind to be strong so that you will not be conquered by Mara's evil. Now, you see, in other religions, we talk of Satan, the devil, and so on. But when you say Mara's evil, it basically means the evil forces inside our minds, coming from maybe, various sources like previous lives, so they could have gone into the mind. Or this life also, people have influenced you, and these evil forces have gone in. And what are the evil forces? The three most serious ones and most important ones are greed, hatred, illusion. The greed, in the mind, so very strong, right? Wanting this, wanting that. In this case here, probably the greed to enjoy themselves in the party and to take liquor and have fun. That is the Mara's evil. And the other one is anger, hatred. You know, the people who are angry, hateful, they can also do terrible things and they generate bad karma. So in this case here, I don't know, there could be a display of anger because Jenny quite insistent that Jack would take her for the moonlight ride. And if Jack refuses, she'll get angry. She'll show, you better do, better take me. So I don't know, various factors. And the third one is delusion. Delusion is foolishness, right? Wrong view. Thinking that, well, most important is and I enjoy myself. They don't realize that all these things are temporary and you do the foolish things, the wrong, unwholesome things. There's a price to pay. Later on, as you can see here, it happens in this life itself. If not, then it could be next life. So the mind must be strong so that the greed will not conquer you. You see, if the wisdom comes, then be very good. But the mind was weak. Jenny, she felt guilty a bit first that she had lied. But then, Mara's forces so strong. I don't bother. I will enjoy myself. Right? The attachment and the craving, wanting to enjoy yourself and have fun as much as possible, cover all the good things already, isn't it? So the mind must be strong. How to train the mind to be strong? No other way than actually following the Dhamma. And the best way is to follow what you have studied, the Noble Eightfold Path. Of course, at the higher level, do most difficult things like meditation. But in this case here, in the Sunday school, you learn the Dhamma. You learn what is the Noble Eightfold Path. All these things are meant to train your mind to be strong so that if the evil forces come from outside, sometimes you have con men or evil men, all these are coming, and they try to tempt you, come I give you this money and things like that, I give you this. And your mind is strong, you don't have wisdom, you fall into the trap. And I was just reading the papers, so many educated ones have fallen victims to scam, con men, and they just withdraw the money, 20, 30,000 and transfer to the con man bank account because the con man who these ladies are saying that they love them and these ladies thought that they have fallen in love already, so got cheated and they are not ordinary people, they are professional people, according to what I read in the papers. They have degrees from universities also. So you see, the mind is weak, right? The mind is conquered by craving, attachment, right? Delusion, wanting this, wanting that. So wisdom cannot arise until when they realize it, they have lost 50,000 or 60,000, right? So that's the important thing. You have to train your mind to be strong, right? To train the mind to be strong, that means you cut the greed, you cut the anger, hatred, jealousy, ill will, right? Aversion, wanting to take revenge. All these negative things will make the mind strong. And who will be celebrating Mara? The evil forces will come and overtake your mind. And you will face with dukkha because of the evil forces. So train the mind to cut basically the greed, craving, attaching, grasping, clinging on to things, always wanting this, cannot think clearly, not good for you also, you won't bother already, you see. And then anger, hatred, very dangerous, evil force. And then of course delusion, wrong view. Right? If the person who has wisdom and he overcomes the delusion, then he knows what is right, what is wrong, what should be done and what should not be done. So that later on they will not regret. They will be able to sleep peacefully, their lives are peaceful. But if you are deluded, like today you can see so many, have fallen victims to corruption. And there are also many people who are corrupted. So delusion, having the wrong view. Cái nào con mà ngủ chi Wu Ming, Gong Tai Tai, and these forces of evil will bring suffering. So actually from this when story we can reflect carefully and we can learn a lot of important Dhamma. So maybe you can actually share this story with your friends, and that is something good you are doing. And doing good things will make the mind stronger. Whatever good that you do, wholesome things make the mind stronger and stronger. Unwholesome things, as I mentioned to you already, the evil forces of greed, hatred, delusion, right, superstition, fear, worry, all these will weaken the mind. So one good thing you can do is to share good stories with the lessons to your friends. Now it's so easy, isn't it? Right? When you watch the thing on YouTube, you just have to get the URL, the link, the link, and then sometimes I do that for some of the things I see on the internet and share with the friends. No payment, one free, right? So share for them to learn, and you have done a very meritorious thing, right? I think now the young people are very good. So you like that particular presentation on YouTube, you just copy the URL and then paste it onto your WhatsApp message and then forward or send it to friends. But mostly all they just share and all those, that really does not make the mind strong. Of course, now you want to share some songs or dance, okay, but they don't share the good things, isn't it? So I hope this lesson has taught. I like this story very much, because it teaches us important things. So I hope you all understand this very, very well. And now more or less we have come to the end of this already. So let us say sadhu 3 times to end this presentation, right? So before that, I'd like to thank all of you and also the teachers, parents, and grandparents who are viewing the presentation, taking time, and also your energy and effort to follow this presentation, which has so much Dhamma. So let us say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May all be well and peaceful.